The oak door to my husband's office stood slightly open, just a crack, but it was enough to change everything. Sunlight poured through the gap, casting golden rays across the sleek, modern office of Harper & Sons law firm, where the company's logo gleamed on a frosted glass wall. I heard a low, warm voice, my husband James, speaking in a tone so tender it felt like a stranger's. It wasn't the voice he used with me anymore, not for months. My heart thudded as I nudged the door wider, and there in his fancy leather chair, sat my younger sister Lily, her chestnut hair spilling over his shoulder as she perched on his lap. Their lips were locked in a kiss so intense, it was like they were the only two people in the world. Her perfectly polished nails were tangled in his dark hair, and his hands gripped her waist like she was his to claim. They didn't notice me standing there, frozen as my entire life, 2 years of marriage to James, 28 years of sisterhood with Lily, crumbled into nothing. Time slowed, each second stretching into forever as I watched them, my breath caught in my throat. Then Lily's eyes flicked open, meeting mine over James's shoulder. She didn't flinch or pull away. Instead, she smiled, a slow, deliberate curve of her lips that sent a chill down my spine. I'm Sarah Bennett, and until that moment I thought I knew who I was. I was the wife who made James's favorite sandwiches and tucked little notes in his briefcase to cheer him up. I was the sister who never forgot Lily's birthday, always ready with a hug when she needed one. I was the daughter who showed up at Mom's house every Sunday, ignoring the way she'd compare my quiet life to Lily's dazzling career in fashion marketing. But standing there watching my sister and my husband, I realized I'd been blind. "Oh, Sarah," Lily said, sliding off James's lap with no hurry, her skirt still wrinkled from their embrace. "You're here early." Early? As if I'd interrupted a meeting instead of my whole world. James adjusted his tie, calm as ever, like he was preparing for a courtroom speech. His blue eyes, the ones I'd fallen for back in college when we'd study late into the night, met mine with a cool detachment. Not guilt, not defiance, just nothing. "We should talk," he said, as if those words could explain away the scene I'd just witnessed. "Talk about what?" My voice sounded like it belonged to someone else, tight and sharp. "About how long you've been kissing my sister. About how you've both betrayed me." Lily sighed, that familiar tone she'd used since we were kids, like I was being dramatic. "Sarah, don't make this a big deal. It's not worth it." I stared at her, really seeing her for the first time. Lily, at 32 years younger than me, had always been the sparkling one. The one who could charm anyone with a smile. Now lounging on the office couch while James sat behind his desk like this was a business deal, she looked like she belonged there, radiant, unbothered. "How long has this been going on?" I asked, my voice barely a whisper. They exchanged a glance, a secret look that made my stomach twist. 8 months, James said finally. 8 months. I echoed, my mind racing back to my last birthday party. The one where Lily wore that stunning emerald dress, charming all of James's coworkers. The one where she stayed late to help, while James and I bickered about his late nights at the office. The one where I'd hugged her and called her the best sister ever. 8 months, I repeated, numb. Lily leaned back, crossing her legs like we were having a casual coffee chat. "Sarah, I know this hurts, but let's be real. You and James haven't been close in forever. Everyone's noticed." "Everyone?" I snapped. James nodded, his voice steady like he was arguing a case. "Our marriage was already over, Sarah. This just sped things up." Their words hit like punches. The two people I loved most in the world sat there, explaining my marriage like it was a failed project they both signed off on. No apologies, no shame, just cold, calculated dismissal. "I want you out of the house," I said to James, surprised by how steady my voice sounded. He actually laughed. "Sarah, it's my house. My name's on the deed. You'll need to leave." "And go where?" I demanded. Lily and James shared another look, like they'd rehearsed this. "Well," Lily said, her tone syrupy sweet, "Mom's been saying she's lonely since Dad died. Maybe you could move back home, help her out." Move back home? At 32, after building a career as a freelance illustrator, they expected me to crawl back to my childhood bedroom like a loser. "Does Mom know?" I asked before I could stop myself. Lily's smile grew sharper. "I told her yesterday. She gets it. She always said James was too good for you." The word sliced through me. My own mother thought my husband was too good for me. "She's excited about us being a family," Lily went on. She thinks it's time James had someone who matches his drive. The room spun. Not only had they been sneaking around for months, but they'd already planned my exit, already told my mother, already decided how my life would look without me in it. I looked at James, the man I'd supported through law school, the man who'd vowed to love me forever on our wedding day. He was scrolling through his phone, unbothered. I need air, I managed, stumbling toward the door. Sarah, wait, James called. We need to discuss the divorce, the assets. Assets? I turned back, incredulous. What assets, James? Everything's in your name, remember? You made sure of that. He shifted, just a flicker of discomfort crossing his face. We'll work something out. I'm not unreasonable. Unreasonable. The man who'd been cheating with my sister for 8 months was worried about seeming unreasonable. I left without another word. The drive home was a haze of tears, anger, and a strange hollow calm. Our house, no James's house, sat at the end of a quiet street in a neighborhood we'd picked together, dreaming of kids filling the extra rooms. I sat in the driveway, staring at the bright blue door and the flower beds I'd planted last summer. Everything looked the same, but it felt like someone else's life. Inside, the house screamed of my naivety. Our wedding photos on the shelf, my sketchbooks mixed with James's law books, my coffee mug in the sink with a faint lipstick mark like a clue to a crime. I called my mom. Sarah, honey, she said, her voice careful like she was tiptoeing around broken glass. Lily told me you might call. She told you everything? Enough. Oh, sweetheart, I know it's tough, but sometimes these things happen. James and Lily, they fit. They're both driven, successful. I'm successful, Mom. I cut in. I run my own business. Of course, dear, but Lily moves in James's world. She gets his pressures, his goals. Maybe this is just life. Life. My mother was calling my marriage's collapse life. So you're on her side? I'm not picking sides, Sarah. I'm being practical. You and James were struggling. Everyone saw it. And Lily, she didn't mean for this. Love just happened. Love. They were calling it love. Where am I supposed to go, Mom? You're always welcome here. Your room's the same. And honestly, I could use some help around the house. There it was, the consolation prize. After losing my husband and sister, I could go play caretaker for my mom. I need to think, I said, hanging up. I poured a glass of wine, then another, then another. By the time James came home at 10, I was in the living room with an empty bottle and a mind sharp with clarity. Sarah, he said, loosening his tie like this was just another day. We need to talk logistics. Logistics. I echoed. Like how you're kicking me out of my life? Don't be dramatic, he said, pulling a folder from his briefcase. I've got a fair settlement offer. Considering everything's in my name, I'm being generous. $20,000, and I'll cover moving costs. I flipped through the papers, not reading. How much? $20,000. It's more than fair. Fair? For 8 months of cheating with my sister. Sarah, I get that you're upset, but let's not pretend our marriage was perfect. We grew apart. What Lily and I have, it's different. It's real. What about what we had? We were friends who got married because it felt right at the time. But when was the last time we talked about anything real? Anything deeper than bills or dinner plans? He wasn't entirely wrong. Our marriage had settled into a routine, a comfortable rhythm I thought was normal. So that gave you the right to cheat? I didn't plan it. Neither did Lily. It just happened. For 8 months it just happened. Sarah, don't make this harder than it needs to be. That phrase again, like my pain was an inconvenience. I want the house, I said. He laughed. Be realistic. You can't afford it, and legally. I don't care about legally. I want it. That's not how this works. Take the offer, or you'll get whatever the court gives you, which won't be much. He had it all planned, every angle covered. When do you want me out? End of the month. 2 weeks. 2 weeks to erase my life. Fine, I said. He blinked, surprised. Fine. I'll be out. Good. Let's keep this civil. Civil. The man who'd betrayed me with my sister wanted to pat himself on the back for civility. That night, after James went to the guest room, apparently even he had some limits, I sat at my computer until sunrise. I'd always been a digger, researching clients for my illustration work to understand their stories. Now I turned that skill on James and Lily. I found out James had been clever, structuring our finances to leave me with nothing. The house, the cars, our savings, all in his name, timed perfectly to dodge marital claims. He'd been planning his escape since before we said, "I do." Then I dug into their pasts. Took days, but I found a pattern. James had a history of chasing women in tight-knit circles, friends, colleagues, sisters. His ex-girlfriend lost him to her best friend, the one before that to a coworker. And Lily? She had a trail of broken relationships, always with men who were already taken. They weren't in love, they were thrill-seekers drawn to the chase, not the commitment. 3 days later, Lily showed up at my door with a bottle of wine and a fake smile. "Sarah, we need to talk." I let her in, curious despite the ache in my chest. She sat on my couch, the one I'd chosen for the home she was about to steal, and poured 2 glasses of wine without asking. "I know you're mad," she said, "but we can get through this as sisters." Sisters? I almost laughed. "You're sleeping with my husband." "It wasn't planned, Sarah. James and we just clicked. You two weren't happy. You haven't been for ages. Were you going to tell me?" "Of course. We just wanted to be sure it was real. We didn't want to hurt you for no reason." "How kind of you. Don't be bitter, Sarah. It's not you. James needs someone who challenges him, who gets his world. You're sweet, nurturing. That's great, but it's not what he needs." She sipped her wine, studying me like I was a problem to solve. "You're blaming me for your affair?" "I'm not blaming anyone. I'm saying maybe if you tried harder, grown with him." "Grown with him? When was the last time you read something that wasn't a fashion magazine, Lily? When was the last time you cared about anyone but yourself?" Her smile faltered. "I want us to be okay, Sarah. This doesn't change that we're family. Family doesn't do this." She stood, checking her phone. "I have to go. James is taking me to meet his partners at the firm. But Sarah, don't make this harder than it needs to be. For everyone's sake." That phrase again. I was done being everyone's doormat. I found Laura Mitchell through a desperate late-night search for top divorce lawyers. At 55, she was a legend, sharp, silver-haired, and known for winning impossible cases. Her office towered over the city, and her fees matched her reputation. "Mrs. Bennett," she said, flipping through James's settlement offer. "This is a joke. He's offering you pocket change while hiding assets. He says it's generous. He's lying. You're entitled to more, much more." His financial moves scream premeditation. "He's been planning this divorce since before you married." My stomach churned. So he never meant for it to last? His actions suggest he was always ready to walk away. Laura leaned back, her eyes sharp. "What do you want from this, Sarah?" I thought about it. "The house? Money? Revenge? I want them to know I'm not invisible. I want them to pay for what they did." Laura's smile was like a wolf's. "Now we're talking. Tell me about your sister." I spilled everything. The affair, Lily's smugness, Mom's betrayal, the way they'd already planned my exile. Laura took notes, her pen flying. "Your sister's in fashion marketing, cozying up to James's colleagues. And they're not being subtle on social media, are they?" I showed her screenshots. James and Lily at dinners, galas, always professional but too close for comfort. "They're careful," Laura said, "but not careful enough. James's firm values image, family, trust, stability. An affair with his wife's sister while dodging a fair settlement? That's a career killer. What can we do? We file for divorce on grounds of adultery. We demand a forensic audit of all assets. We subpoena their texts, emails, everything. It'll make James sweat. And Lily's career won't love the spotlight either." I drained my savings for Laura's retainer, but it felt like buying my dignity back. James got the divorce papers on a Monday, served right in his office for maximum impact. He called me an hour later, furious. "Sarah, what is this? Adultery? Forensic audits? You're demanding half of everything." "I'm demanding what I deserve. We had a deal." "You had a deal. I didn't agree to it. You're making a mistake. This will get ugly." "It's already ugly, James. I have connections, Sarah. Judges, lawyers. You can't win this. Watch me." I hung up, shaking but alive. 2 hours later, Lily was at my door. No wine this time, just rage. Sarah, stop this lawsuit. You're ruining James's reputation. I'm getting divorced. That's all. You're being petty. James has friends, powerful friends. You can't beat him. I'm not afraid of him. Or you. She stepped closer, her voice low. If you keep this up, James will ruin you. No jobs, no credit, nothing. Is that a threat? It's a promise. Drop this or we'll show everyone what a spiteful loser you are. I saw her then, not as my sister, but as a desperate bully. Get out of my house, I said. She left, slamming the door. The cracks in their plan started small. James's firm called Laura for a discreet resolution meeting. They're scared, Laura said. A public scandal hurts their brand. Then Lily's clients started dropping her after anonymous tips about her behavior. Did you do that? I asked Laura. I don't play dirty, she said with a wink. But divorce filings are public. Anyone could have found them. The real surprise came from James's mother, Ellen. She called me, her voice trembling. Sarah, I just heard about James and Lily. I'm horrified. My son wasn't raised like this. Thank you, Ellen. Fight for what you deserve, dear. Don't let them win. James wasn't just losing me. He was losing his family's respect, his colleagues' trust. The final showdown was in a sleek conference room at James's firm, city lights sparkling through the windows. James looked wrecked, hair messy, suit rumpled, eyes sunken. Laura laid out our terms, $250,000, half the house's value, and $4,000 a month in alimony. James's lawyer, Mr. Carter, scoffed. That's absurd for a 2-year marriage. Is the adultery absurd? Laura shot back. The hidden assets? The threats against my client. Silence. We dispute the asset claims, Carter said weakly. Do you dispute the affair? The conspiracy to cheat Sarah out of her share. More silence. I spoke up. I'm asking for what's fair, James. You offered me less than you'd spend on a car. Half the house, a cash payout, and alimony, he snapped. That's more than I have. Then you shouldn't have cheated with my sister. His calm broke. You're dragging our lives through the mud. Reporters are calling my firm. Lily's losing clients. Because of you. Laura's voice was ice. Your choices made this newsworthy, Mr. Bennett. Affairs are common. Affairs with your wife's sister while hiding assets? That's a story. Carter cut in. We need 24 hours to discuss. That night, James asked to meet at a quiet coffee shop. He looked broken, the confident lawyer gone. I didn't want it to be like this, he said. I wanted it clean. Clean? You wanted me to vanish so you could play house with Lily. I know I hurt you, Sarah. We were friends once. Can't we end this without ruining each other? Do you regret it? I regret hurting you. I regret how it happened. But Lily, no, I don't regret her. His honesty stung, but it clarified everything. What do you want, Sarah? I want you to face consequences. I want to know I'm not disposable. I'm losing everything, my reputation, my family, my career. Isn't that enough? That's not consequences. That's just what happens when you betray people. He sighed. What if I agree to Laura's terms? All of them. Why would you do that? I'm exhausted, Sarah. I just want it over. And Lily. She thinks I should fight. She thinks you'll cave. What do you think? I think I never really knew you. We sat in silence, the weight of our broken promises heavy between us. I'll agree to the settlement, he said finally. All of it. The settlement was finalized 2 weeks later. James kept the house but took out a loan to pay me $250,000. With the cash and alimony, I bought a cozy loft in the city's art district, with tall windows and brick walls that felt like a fresh start. The media frenzy turned into an opportunity. A journalist connected me with a women's advocacy group, and I took a job designing their campaigns, helping women like me share their stories. My first project was a website with the slogan, "You are enough. Your voice matters." It became my mantra. Lily tried calling for months, her voicemails shifting from fake apologies to panic as her career tanked. The fashion world didn't forgive drama, and her reputation crumbled. I never called back. Mom started coming around slowly. Our Sunday dinners became real again, filled with talks about art and life, not Lily or James. Your father always said you were the tough one, she told me once. I didn't get it until now. I hadn't either. 3 years later, my life is bigger than I ever dreamed. My design business thrives, fueled by clients who saw my story on a documentary series called The Fight Back. My episode, I Caught My Sister in My Husband's Arms and Rewrote My Future, was a hit. I consulted on the series, ensuring my story was told right, and donated part of the proceeds to women's shelters. I'm dating Ethan, a kind-hearted chef who thinks my strength is beautiful, not threatening. We're building something real step by step. James moved across the country after his law license was suspended for shady financial dealings uncovered during our case. He's doing small-time legal work now, far from his big-shot dreams. He and Lily split a year after the settlement, unable to handle the real world without the thrill of secrecy. Lily's in a dull corporate job now, her sparkle dimmed. Mom and I are closer than ever, but I don't talk about Lily or James unless I choose to. I don't hate them anymore. Hate takes too much energy. But I don't forgive them either. They don't get to decide my worth. Sometimes I think back to that day in James's office, when I was the trusting woman who thought love meant shrinking herself. She's gone now, replaced by someone stronger, sharper, unafraid. My phone rings often now, women calling for advice after hearing my story. I feel so lost, they say. You're not lost, I tell them. You just haven't found your strength yet. I did. And it changed everything.